Okay, so all the files we have right here, we are not going to use them. Of course, if you want, in the future, you can keep them, but for this course, for this basic project that we're going to build everything from the scratch. So, they are just in the way, so I'm going to delete them pretty much. I'm going to delete them all. So I'm going to go right here to the project, and I'm going to delete the files from here because it's easier deleting the files from here. So I'm going to select everything. I'm going to unselect the index.html. I'm going to leave that one, and I'm going to delete everything else. I'm going to send to trash. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the source folder, and I'm going to select everything and just leave the index.js out. And then I'm going to send everything to the trash. Good. So I'm going to go back to the project, and we just have the index.html and the index.js. And again, we're going to build everything from the scratch. So I'm going to delete everything, and then I'm going to save it. Okay. So now if I reload the application, of course, nothing works. That is good. So I'm going to go back to the project. And now whenever we write code for React, we use components or views. So these are the first keywords you need to remember. So these components are going to be pieces of code we connect so they can work together. So we write everything in JavaScript, but whenever it's compiled, it's going to be rendering JavaScript and some HTML. So again, in React, we create functions and classes. We work with functions and classes. That some functions are going to be returning some HTML. But again, just like I told you before, everything is JavaScript. So this lookalike HTML is going to be in reality JS. It's going to be JavaScript. And this is going to be called JSX. This is what React does. We're going to write some HTML that looks like HTML, but then it's going to be compiled and it's going to be rendering that HTML on the screen. But that HTML is in fact JavaScript, and it's called JSX. So let's create our first component. We're going to be starting with that. I'm going to create a variable that is going to be const, and it's going to be called app. And this app is going to be equal to fat arrow function. And this one is going to return some code. And I'm going to return an h1 tag. And inside we can have hello, then world. Simple as that. And just exclamation marks. Now notice that this is just a regular ES6 function. It's a fat arrow function. So we're going to be using ES6 in this course. And if you don't know ES6 at all, don't worry. Just keep watching and we will learn as we go. Or you can go to the final section of the course and you will have a bonus content. It's going to be a full ES6 course. So you can start from there, learn ES6, and then you can come back. But if you wish, you can stay and just learn as we go. Don't worry. So this is just a function. It's going to be equal to function, then app, then open and close, and just a regular function. This is the same idea. Okay, so let me delete this. Okay, so now this is our first component. If we invoke app, it's going to return some text, some h1 tag, some HTML. Of course, if we go right here, we get an error. It's a first error. React must be in scope when using JSX. So, okay, so let's keep moving forward and see what is missing in our application. So in order for React to compile our component in a code that the browser can understand, we need to let the script know that we want to use React, because that's what we want to do. We want to use React. So we need to bring React to this script. We need to bring React to the equation. So how do we do it? We import things. So at the beginning of the script, we will bring two main libraries or dependencies. And we are going to be making use of the keyword import, then space, and we pass the name of the thing that we want to bring. In this case, we're going to be bringing React. And then we're going to say from where we want to bring this. So I'm going to say from. Then I'm going to say space, and in single quotes, I'm going to put the name of what I want to bring. It's going to be React. So what's happening right this is that Node is going to say, okay, this dude wants to bring something that calls React, and is going to want it from React. So whenever we don't have an extension just like this, for example, Node knows that whenever we put a name just like this, knows that we want to bring something from the node modules, from the vendor folder. So it's going to go to the vendor folder, bring everything and put it right here. So we need two things. The first one is React. And then we're going to need something else. We're going to say import, and we're going to say React DOM, just like that. React and then DOM. And of course, we want to bring it from React DOM. So these are the main dependencies or libraries that we need to work with React. And if we go to the package.json, you can see that you have it as dependencies, React and React DOM. Okay, let me close this. So okay, what happens? So let me save the page, and if we go right here, we render, nothing happens, but you're not getting a message right here. Let's go to the inspect and check the console. So okay, React DOM is defined but never used, app is assigned but value never used. We are getting a different message right here. Okay, so let's go back to the code. So okay, we have our component, we have the dependencies. So now we need to show the code. So we explicitly need to say, React, here's my component, and this is what I want to render. So we're going to be making use of React DOM. I'm going to go right here at the bottom, and I'm going to call this React DOM. I have it right here. So React DOM is going to be using a method. So this method is going to call render. And this render is going to take some arguments. Now, of course, we are not there yet. So this argument that we need to do is our component. We need to say, dude, render our component. So I'm going to go right here, and we're going to say app. We need to render this one. Okay. So if I go right here, of course, we get a new message. Target container is not a DOM element. So whenever we use this, just like this, we are saying that we want to render a component class. And we're going to be talking about this later. So what we should pass, it's a component instance. So we need to explicitly say, dude, this component, this right here, this function, it's a component. So you need to render as a component. So what we do, we enclose everything in a tag, just like this, just like an HTML tag. Well, same idea. And if I save this and go to the browser, it's gonna working, but we get kind of a different message, a different error message. So I'm going to go back to the project, and this render method is going to need this one, which is going to be the component, but then it's going to need to know where to put it. Right here we are telling what we want to render, but not the where we want to put this. So the second argument is going to be the where. Now if I go to the HTML and we take a look, right here we have a div that is going to be called root, and this is a convention. You can use whatever name you wish, but of course you need to specify it in the index. By default, we call it root, and it's a convention. So if I go to the index.js, the second argument is going to be that root. And right here, we're going to be using document.querySelector, and this is vanilla.js. It's going to be query selector, and then, of course, we pass the name of the ID, which is going to be root. Good. So I'm going to save it. Okay, make it right. So the everything should be working. If I go right here, okay, we get hello world. Everything works. So what is happening? Just to sum everything up, we are importing React. We are creating a component that returns some HTML. And this HTML, in fact, is going to be JavaScript, is JSX. But React is grabbing this, converting everything to HTML, and then we pass the initializer, the function that returns that code, and we are saying where we want to put it. And then, of course, it's creating the bundle.js, and the bundle.js is putting everything inside this div, this container. Okay, that's what's happening behind the scenes. So let's go to the next section, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about JSX, what this is.